Welcome back to the Banter Ball podcast for episode 3 of season 4. Once again with a new gimmick, that being that we are posting this on a Thursday instead of our usual Friday. But even so, Banter Ball is so back. We're good. Once again, I'm here with Kyle. I'm here with Brendan. How we doing, boys?
Great, man.
I'm so psyched. I'm ready to roll.
I can really tell how. Look at these franchises that we're sporting today. I got a Phillies hat, we got a Steelers, and we got a Buffalo Sabres jersey on. Oh man,
they're playing well right now. They're in the first wild card in the Eastern Conference for the first time in who knows how long. So
quite some time.
Yeah,
and they won't stay there for very long.
Yeah, because they're going up. To
hey,
so
you said they have a wild card spot. Is it locked or is it?
No, not yet. There's like 30 games left in the season. They're in the spot, but
they're currently in. If the playoffs were to start today, they would be in a playoff spot.
Yeah.
They're
playing well right now too. Like very, very well. They're 16-3-1 in their last 20 games. Arguably the second best team in the league.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Hey, but you never know. You could have a devastating injury like the Warriors just did in the NBA. They were 12-4 in their last 16, and then Jimmy Butler down.
Yeah,
we haven't had too many bad injuries. Knock on wood.
It's about time. Down goes.
The thing is with the Sabres, there's no superstar player that.
I was gonna say I can't really think of a superstar for the Buffalo Sabres.
Tage Thompson,
anyway.
Rasmus Dahlin would be bad, but like the only two. There's a couple guys. Kesselring's been in and out, but I mean. The young guys that we're bringing up are playing well too. So,
Well, no Bo Nix level injuries coming. This.
No.
Right. Yeah. Well, we'll talk about that later. But let's start in with our theme today is championships. We're gonna be bantering about the recent college football title, the upcoming AFC, NFC title games, and right now we're gonna talk about a World Series champion, a 2020 World Series champion, Cody Bellinger. Just re-signed with the New York Yankees after his first season with them last year. He's got a 5-year, what is it, Brendan? 135 mil? 162 mil.
It's $30-some million a year. Yeah.
I was going to say that's where I got the 30 in my mind. It's
$1 million signing bonus. Yeah, 5 years, $162.5 million, and then the $20 million bonus that comes with it. I do not know
the Yankees
with that. A lot of it can be deferred too. So the way baseball's played.
Well, the Yankees get their left fielder back, a huge return for them. And honestly, I don't know if they would be even close to the same team if they didn't have him back on the roster right now. But signing a guy who's what, in his 30s for a 5-year contract. I mean, it's not crazy in the MLB, but it's definitely an interesting sight. But Brendan, how do you think this lines up the Yankees for their near future?
I mean, it's more of the same as it was going to be last year, and that's not to knock the Yankees for anything. This move absolutely needed to be done if the Yankees wanted to have a very solid lineup. Obviously, they have a bunch of pieces, but there was one glaring hole in the outfield that needed filled. They tried to go after Kyle Tucker, and we all saw how that went. It didn't work out. But the pressure that organization has on them from the fans being the best franchise historically in baseball, they needed to go out and do something, and they were finally able to get the Bellinger done deal. It was looking really, really bad for the Yankees, though. I think he might be one of their first big free agent signings they had. I'm pretty sure the Pirates have outspent them this offseason up until this point.
Well, I mean, what they've only
Bellinger
only made one other signing.
More money than the entire Pirates salary, but yeah.
Kyle, what you thinking about this big contract here?
Well, it keeps the continuity of the team together, right? You're bringing back most of the team that you had last year, and obviously, I mean, Toronto is only going to get worse. Obviously, they lost Bo Bichette. We'll see how well they can come back, but obviously, Yankees were in it. I guess technically last year, if you want to use the tracking of that. So they were in the World Series 2024. So they're going to get their guy back, Cody. I understand he wasn't on that team, but they're only going to get better. Additionally, they're going to get Garrett Cole back, which is going to be very, very big for that team. I mean, even without him, they went to the championships, the American League Championship Series. So it's going to be.
I think they only made the division round this year.
Is that right? Oh, that's right. The Mariners did. That's right.
Yeah, Seattle.
That's my fault.
No, you're all good. Yeah,
We all
no,
make
Seattle
mistakes.
did it.
But they're going to be better, is what I'm trying to say. They're going to be definitely better with Garrett Cole back and obviously Bellinger back. They're going to have some continuity. They're the Yankees are going to win probably 100 and some games with all the oil money they have to spend.
But yeah, with that playoff series in mind, before I let you go, Brennan, I mean, you got to think this is nice for Cody Bellinger himself to not have his last memory in a Yankees uniform being having 5 at-bats and literally no stats, no runs, no hits, no anything, no getting on base in the last game of that 5-2 loss to Toronto. So he'll get another chance at being a meaningful player in the playoffs. But I wonder how long of a timeline he'll be able to do that for.
He'll be fine. He definitely needed that 1-year prove-it deal in Chicago, and that kind of set his career back on track. Obviously, we know the player he can be, the 2019 NL MVP with Los Angeles, won the World Series in that shortened COVID year. But this was a much-needed piece for that Yankees lineup that the standard they want to be at. Like Kyle said, they want to win 100-plus games a year. They want to go back to the World Series and win one. This 16-year championship drought for them. Way too long if you're a Yankees fan. And adding Cody Bellinger, I like the move. That lineup is very good, very complete. However, you're just bringing a guy back. And my philosophy is if you're not getting better, you're getting worse. And I understand the teams around the Blue Jays are getting worse this offseason. But you also got to keep in mind, you look at teams like the Orioles, the Red Sox. I don't know what the Rays are doing. They always are weird because they don't sign anybody, but they get a lot out of their players. So you never really know what the Tampa's going to do. But you're looking around at that American League. The Astros are always a threat, although now they're shopping some of their players. The Mariners are obviously going to be there. Cleveland's going to be up there again. Detroit, if they keep Tariq Skubal, which I really hope they do. He cannot go to Los Angeles. Please do not let that happen at all. This is a very competitive American League at the top, and I think this was needed to compete with that. I don't know if it's enough to separate themselves. The lineup obviously is fine, but like I said, it's an equal move. Like you lost him, you brought him back. The big concern I have is the pitching. I think they need to go out and get a couple more arms. Yes. Kyle, you mentioned Garrett Cole. I don't know if he's going to be back to begin this season.
Not back immediately, but they will have him for most.
They will have him back, and the same goes for Carlos Rodon and Clark Schmidt, 2 other guys who are supposed to be key starters in that rotation. I don't think they're going to have them back to begin this season. So they really need to go out there, get another starting pitcher. I believe they brought a couple in, Brian Yarbrough being one of them. I think he's pretty solid. But we'll see what they end up doing. I just don't know if this team is going to be able to, if it moves the needle for the Yankees that much, especially considering what the fans wanted them to do this season. Obviously, we talked about Kyle Tucker. I'm sure they'd much rather have that guy. But there's no way you're competing with that money out in LA. But yeah, I'm not really too sure if.
Yeah, I mean, at the very least, it keeps them competitive, though, right? I mean, and that's.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, between the National League
and they'd be competitive without him.
Where competitiveness matters,
and
win some, lose some in the American League. You don't have a Dodgers in your American.
Well, yeah, that's true. I think it keeps them competitive with the top teams in the American.
Exactly, and that
they're not going to be fighting for a wild card spot. And honestly, as long as you have number 99 on that team in that offense for however many games, over 55 games a year, you're going to be competitive. He's arguably the best player in baseball, second if you want to include Ohtani. Best hitter, definitely, I'd say that. So, yeah, you're always going to be competitive. It's just what level, and I think this puts them back in that upper echelon of American League teams.
Yeah. Well, the Yankees, competitive as ever, always one of the top teams in Major League Baseball. Flipping gears entirely to a team that historically does not have a lot of success, but this time has cemented themselves as one of the most dominant, arguably, champions in college football history. Indiana takes that title in a closer game than expected against Miami, but they take that, and just honestly, very, very dominant season from Indiana overall. how are we reacting to the expected victory?
Well, I would first want to say I think you're not giving Miami enough credit when you say unexpected almost loss, because they did a very, very good job during the playoffs, going into Kyle Field, beating A&M, beating the former former champion in Ohio State, and then beating Ole Miss, who I maybe gave them a little too much credit 2 weeks ago. But this is a very good Miami team. And we're going to look back at this, and yeah, Carson Beck was like the age of a normal NFL quarterback, and he was throwing to dudes who were 11 when he committed to Georgia. But this is a very, very solid Miami team. And obviously, they got to play in their home stadium. That helps a lot. So I want to give full kudos to them, because they have not been in any sort of championship talks for the last 2 decades, and they were just emerged as a 10 seed, even after not even making their conference championship. So shout outs to them. But yeah, this Indiana team, it's maybe not on the level of like 2019 LSU, 01 Miami. I wouldn't maybe put it there quite yet, because as we've seen in the NFL, almost that entire starting roster, offense and defense for 2019, like for LSU, all had pretty good careers in the NFL, like currently ongoing or stuff like that. But they just destroyed everyone, and no, obviously full thanks to their Heisman quarterback in Fernando Mendoza. He's going to be the first pick in this draft, so it's going to be interesting to see how he plays later. But it really is. I tried so hard to hate them as obviously a Penn State guy, and I appreciated that the closest game they played was against Penn State the entire year. But it's so hard to hate what an amazing turnaround for a school that I think had the most losses in college football history at a certain point. Statistically speaking, the most losses, the worst record, everything. And in 2 years, I went from 3-9 to 16-0. I think that's just impressive.
Oh yeah, dude, 100%. I mean, Kirk Cignetti deserves all the credit in the world for what he did with this team. I mean, you just don't do that. Normally, it takes a while to turn around a program at that level, and I thought he did a fantastic job with the current rules of the NCAA, utilized the transfer portal. They had the oldest team in all of college football, I'm pretty sure. Correct me if I'm wrong, but one of the top teams.
Definitely one of the oldest, if not the oldest, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's the way the college landscape is going. I mean, you look back at Florida last year and March Madness, how many seniors and guys that were old won that championship. And I don't necessarily agree with those transfer portal rules. Something needs to be done about it. But if you got to take advantage of it right now if you want to win championships. Kirk Cignetti did a great job of that. Fernando Mendoza played out of his mind, was a Heisman winner. He got help. The receivers, Omar Cooper Jr. is fantastic. Charlie Becker, ever since that Penn State game turned it on, he's only a sophomore too, I believe. So he's got another year at Indiana to prove himself. He's going to be a highly sought-after receiver. I mean, this team was full of studs on the defense too. You had some great plays. It was just so physical, so tough for Beck to do anything. Shout out though on the Miami side, we didn't really talk about them a whole lot. Mark Fletcher and Malachi Toney. Mark Fletcher, very good in that game, 17 carries, 102 yards, I believe. He had 2 scores as well. And then, of course, Malachi Toney, every other play, it just seemed like that dude was getting the ball. Like, there was nothing you could do about it. That's the guy Kyle was referencing when Carson Beck first committed to Georgia.
He was 11 years old when Carson Beck committed to Georgia.
Yeah,
is that not just a crazy concept?
That dude might be a top 5 pick in the NFL draft. Like when he's
soon,
eligible.
Yeah, for sure. And
yeah, apparently all the receiving talent went to that guy in that family too. He's everywhere. He was everywhere on that field. The people from Miami showed up when it mattered most, and Carson Beck did not. It was a good route. I forget who was running it. Might have been Toney. But he just underthrew him. The safety came in, took the ball, had him wide open. He makes a better throw. Miami wins that game. But at the end of the day, it came down to quarterback play. And Fernando Mendoza, as we literally saw, made one more play than Carson Beck. And
I think excuse me, Corey. There's one more thing I wanted to add to this is that I think their highest rated players I think were 7 4-stars. I'm not sure if they had a single 5-star on that roster the entire way, and they were able to beat the Ohio States. I understand Penn State had an offseason, but they had a lot of high recruits. If you're thinking about it in a numbers way like that, it's just all coaching. Because like if you were getting the best players like that, obviously you'd be beating them out. But like they're not. And even with all the transfers they got from James Madison, I think it's continuity, like we talked about earlier. It's like having that belief system and having that like continued support from the same guy is going to get you to places that you would never even believe.
Oh yeah, 100%. You mentioned that Oregon, they have like 54 4- and 5-star players on that team.
Mm-hmm.
Indiana beat them twice this season, by the
way, and beat them in Oregon, and then beat them to pulp in the playoffs.
Yeah. Like it's just and it was a blowout both times, I believe, right? I'm not sure.
First one wasn't as first one was not as much, but it was still a road win in Eugene, which is pretty hard to come by.
Oh yeah, that's insanely tough to do. Like you look at any other team, Ohio State couldn't get it done last year, and they were the national champions, right?
Yeah.
So a very good team. I agree with you, Kyle. I don't think they're on that same level as the 01 Miami team, the 2019 LSU team. Only time I guess will really tell about it, and it might be a little different considering how old this roster is. But it is definitely up there. I do think it is the biggest turnaround in all of sports history ever. Like, you just don't go from being the worst team to 16-0 season like that. So
not even like 0 to hero, 0 to just like a million. Like just a complete utter dominance.
Unbelievable. And the way that this college football landscape has just completely shifted over these last couple of years, Indiana took advantage of it. They rode with it, and they got the job done. Mm-hmm. I didn't really root for them per se up until the national championship, and I was like, all right, you got to support the Big Ten team.
It was just so. Again, I said it earlier. It's so tough not to root for them because it's just such a great story.
Yeah, no, it really was. I'm just happy that the Big Ten, and that's a whole nother conversation. The Big Ten has now had the last 3 national champions.
Yeah, and it's all been unique ones too.
Yeah, 3 different ones. Yeah. The SEC hasn't made one in that time either, I don't think. So if we want to get into that,
yeah, I mean it's very interesting. I mean, and I think it's especially interesting whenever you talk about the continuity and the value of continuity, Kyle, and having the same people in place to some extent. But you pair that with, the new evolving college landscape, not just college football, college landscape in general of just like buy now, get it done. And we've seen it a lot more the last 5 years or so in college basketball. And now this is really happening in college football, like a lot more. But you see how just one season can kind of change everything, how the transfer portal just shakes everything up entirely. And it honestly makes it that, like, it feels like this could be one of the last, big stories, like you talk about Indiana being a team you want to root for. Like, you're not going to have that super often anymore because the big programs with a lot of money are just going to be having the best seasons every single year. And heck, even like Indiana has always had a lot of money. So it's not like this is a breakout thing for them from a financial standpoint that they like beat the odds for anything like that. It's just like they were not a good team before, and now they are because they always had the resources to be in this kind of landscape. So I wonder how that will advance going forward, and I wonder if that's also why they're trying to shake up the playoff again with expanding to even more teams, which I agree they should not do, Kyle. I agree, but they're talking about expanding to 24, which is insane. But I think that's part of the reason why, because there's
would take 3 months.
I know, but I mean, and it's funny because they asked like
at the most, and then have it like 160.
Well,
like that.
They were asking the head of the SEC.
No more, no less.
They were asking the head of the SEC. They're like, "Would you want to do a 24 team?" And they're like, "No, actually." And I'm like, if the SEC says no, like, even though their programs would probably take up most of those slots, like, it's definitely a no.
They absolutely would. That exactly. But then what would happen with those teams? We saw it this year. They all got eliminated.
Sure.
What outside of head-to-head competition, they won one college football playoff game this year, and that was Ole Miss. Oh, or that was Ole Miss over.
And it was
won
over
two.
Other
Or
SEC.
two, I guess. Yeah,
It was two SEC pairs, and they obviously
Yeah.
one had to win one of those, and then Ole Miss beat who? Who did they beat? Oh my gosh!
No, not James Madison. Was it James Madison or Tulane?
They beat Tulane. That's right. They beat Tulane.
Yeah, they beat an FC. They beat a Group of 5 team.
Yeah.
So if you want to talk about their success, and then obviously some of the other failures, I think Iowa beat Vanderbilt in a bowl game this year, which Vanderbilt is a borderline team. What was the result of that Michigan-Texas bowl game? Did Texas win?
I think Texas won that one. Yeah.
Okay. Well, they at least got that, but again, you had a dysfunctional Michigan team in that situation after what happened with that. But yeah, I don't know.
But I mean, it's a high scoring game. I mean, it's a nice. It was the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl, which doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense. Citrus and Cheez-It.
Yeah, that would not be a good combination. That would not be a good combination.
Games, like now that the New Year's Eve bowl or New Year's bowl games have all been taken by the playoff, it's like weird to see what the next level of bowl games are. And
sure,
that's totally one of them.
Bowl, the Gator Bowl, the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl. That's another big bowl game now. The Cheez-It Citrus Bowl. Like, are these becoming the next big bowl games? I don't know.
Anyway, rounding this conversation back in, what I was trying to say is that with the way the transfer portal is becoming super valuable, it will be interesting to see how the college football landscape adapts and if they will do something like more expansion for the playoff or anything like that to try to solve the problem of just expensive teams. But like you said, Brennan, like with the SEC taking a lot of those spots, I feel like if they expanded the playoff more, it would make it even more so that like smaller programs don't matter at all. So it's definitely a give and take. But for this year, this is a very successful college football season. And Kyle, you said I didn't give Miami their flowers. I think Miami had a much tougher schedule getting to the championship than Indiana did. And I liked the Ole Miss team. I thought Ole Miss would actually beat them, and so I definitely congratulate them on that. And it's a very cool, ending to see a Big Ten school go against an ACC school in the championship. So I thought this was a successful season all around. We'll just have to see how it can continue to advance and continue to shake things up, even with the transfer portal making things so
especially since the ACC almost got no schools into the playoff, which would have been nuts. And for them to go all the way to the championship too, that saved the conference.
It's also a big stick to Notre Dame, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely.
Being we should have been in it.
We started on Notre Dame route. They did not deserve to make that playoff. That was the right selection by the committee, and now they have this.
Yeah. Well, Brennan, you missed, and you might have listened into it, but you missed the conversation a couple weeks ago when Kyle and I were talking. Kyle actually pitched just getting rid of conference championships entirely. And it's like, if you do something like that in a season like this, oh man, the ACC is on shaky ground if you do something like that. Like, because those championship games, even if quote unquote nobody's watching them, they are. People are always watching college football no matter what. So people are watching them, and that's huge revenue makers for those conferences. So it's like, oh man, as we continue to advance,
conference championship and you push everything back a week, like the college football playoff should not be ending 3 weeks or 2 to 3 weeks into January.
Precisely my point.
But I will say, though, what I said to Kyle, and I stand by this, is that you can just play some of the college football playoff games at the same time as like the Armed Forces Bowl and stuff like that. You can have the other bowl games going.
That does happen, though. That happens.
I know, but not to the extent that it should have. There was a full 2 weeks this year where there was no playoff games for any reason.
Sure.
And so, like, you can push up the college football playoff without getting rid of the conference.
The New Year's is the national championship, like New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, like, boom, absolutely.
I'm cool with that, but again, I don't think you have to cut the conference championships. I think it's a huge problem.
The problem I have with conference championships is kind of exactly the situation Miami was in. Now, does Miami deserve to be in the college football playoff? Yes, obviously. obviously looking back on it, but even before that, yeah, they probably deserve to be in it. But you look at a team like BYU. BYU had 2 losses all season, one to Texas Tech, the other also to Texas Tech in the Big 12 championship game. You cut that out, you lose. Like, why is that second loss to the same team who was top 4 in the country, by the way, affecting your chances of making the playoff when you've had a pretty solid year, all things considered? Like,
Yeah, but
either they need to get rid of it or it shouldn't affect the way that
it shouldn't have as big as
whoever's making the college football playoff.
Well, would you even say, I mean, that it all around, I mean, sure, you can say that in the Big 12, like, that it did this time, but, like, the ACC, like, Miami wasn't even in the ACC championship, so it's, like, not every time is it doing, and yes, they do stuff differently, but, like, not every time is it actually impacting everything. So it's like you can point to it being a problem for placing playoff teams, but it doesn't have to be a problem for placing playoff teams.
Question, Corey, can I give you a hypothetical here? If BYU were to have been in the playoffs during conference championship, like been in the race for the playoffs conference championship week, which they were allegedly, or not even allegedly, they were, and then they lose that game of Texas Tech, and then Notre Dame like everything else is the same, but Notre Dame swaps in to their spot. I would be irate as a BYU fan saying, well, Notre Dame didn't play anyone, and they moved up, and we played a team that, again, as Brennan said, is a top 4 team in the country, and we lost, sure, but I mean, how is a loss to a good team better than no game at all?
Sure, but if your solution to that is cutting out conference championships, then you don't have a lot of funding for the conferences to begin with, and now there's zero incentive in any way to even be a part of a conference. So now, one of the biggest, like, inherent revenue generators of college football is just gone, because conferences do generate money, they do generate rivalries, they generate a lot of things. So it's like that's just a start towards like cutting out the conference championships so that you're on the same playing field as a team that's not in a conference is inherently moving down the road of just making more non-conference teams.
They needs to join a conference.
Yeah, it's true.
I agree. So if you put emphasis into the conference championships and you say, hey, this year Notre Dame didn't make it. So if you want to say, hey, part of the reason why they didn't make it is because they didn't even have to play harder competition in conference championship week, then that incentivizes them to bring them in. So don't cut out the conference championships in that situation.
But again, you get a situation like Miami who didn't even make it, and then you have a BYU team. Shouldn't have BYU gotten into the playoffs over Miami if that was the case? Because they were second in that conference. They made the conference championship. They lost, but it was to a top 4 team. Miami didn't even make it. They lost.
Miami was a consistently solid program. I mean, there are several teams in this 12-team playoff that weren't quote unquote close to their to their conference championship. I mean, like Ole Miss and Toledo and of the world, like that's not, like you're not slighting them, but you're getting mad at Miami, who made the college football championship for not being in their conference championship. Like, you can always reward teams that are obviously going to be good for the whole season while still giving extra flowers to the teams that do well in the conference championships. Like, I don't understand why this has to be an exclusive thing of like either we love conference championships and Miami's out, or we hate conference championships and freaking Notre Dame is in. Like, I just don't understand.
No, the problem with that is, say you take out the incentive, like it shouldn't be. It could be an incentive, but it shouldn't be a decentive. Like, if you lose the conference championship, a game you're forced to play, why is that affecting your odds of making the college football championship? It's not like you can opt out of it and like have another team, but because like no one's going to do that. So why are these losers being punished?
Well, I think in the situation that
the
situation that you bring up, like, yes, like you losing to Texas Tech, twice in the same season, whenever they were a top 5 team in the nation, arguably, it's like Sure, that should not impact it. But like as a case by case, situation, that's why there's a selection committee to begin with, is to decipher the value of those case by case situations. But I think it's okay to put an emphasis. It's like, hey, if you had 2 wins on the season, you're here in the conference championship, which should be a game you care about, and you lose to another team that had like a similar record to you, then I'm okay with that, hitting your reputation and you not making the top 12 because of that, But I mean, again, it's all case by case scenarios.
Yeah, but then there has to be some precedent with that. I just don't think it should be.
This is what, the third year. This is the second year of a 12-team playoff. So we don't have enough time for precedents yet. So if you want to create a precedent, you keep things consistent now. You keep 5 years down the road. Maybe we can have this conversation again about getting rid of conference championships. But set your precedent, see what it means, and then we adapt. Because right now there's too much going on in college sports anyway to keep things consistent. But anyway, do we have anything else we want to talk about in the college football world?
I don't think so. I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, Now it's the off season. We're gonna get a lot of transfers, a lot of other guys coming in.
All right. Well,
I don't know how West Virginia is doing in the transfer portal or recruiting, but
our schedule. I mean, a lot of teams' schedules just dropped today, but WVU schedule just dropped today, and that's not that bad. It's okay. I mean,
the cupcakiest of cupcakes
at max, 8-4.
Well, it might get 9. I don't know. I mean, we do play Texas Tech. In Rich Rod, we trust, sort of.
Absolutely. So this is a question I have for you, because you're a Penn Stater. Do you think? Yeah, I know it's Campbell's first year. Do you think the expectation with that, given the schedule, should be getting to the Big Ten championship, where it's lost year?
To me, I would say
because we don't play Ohio State. We don't play any of the other teams likely competing for the Big Ten.
They play Michigan and they play USC. I think
USC is going to be the
I want to set my expectations low, Brennan, because of the horribly traumatic season that we have just had. I understand that there was a different head coach, vastly different players, whatever. And I appreciate how they ended off the season. Obviously, they had a month straight.
That's what I was going to say. That shouldn't be too traumatic going forward.
But after years, aside from that COVID year, you throw that one out. Years of being at least solid 9-10 wins at the very least. Having 6 straight losses in any amount is kind of horrifying. So as far as easy as that schedule is, they played no one in the respectfully, they played no one in the out of conference. They play their hardest game is that Michigan game, but with that new head coach that they have now with Whittingham, I'm not so sure if they're going to be any good really at all. Who even knows if Bryce even stays there till start of the season? I would say if they don't hit 9 or 10 wins, because I think you could afford to have some of those losses. I don't think they'll be in the championship because I just think Indiana's going to be too top heavy. Oregon's going to, with all their Nike money, going to run it back with some crazy transfer. I mean, they are running it back with Dante Moore, which, again, by the way, a total and complete
they have Raiola.
Screw job by the Jets
really
there. And they have Dylan Raiola, yeah. We'll see.
I don't know, Kyle. You're expecting a 10-win team, but you don't expect them to make.
Yes, because that's how top heavy the Big Ten is. I mean, Ohio State's still probably going to be pretty good.
I don't think so.
I mean, Indiana was 11-1 last year, and they didn't make the conference championship. So, I mean, it's crazier things have happened. Although I do expect good things, I'm not expecting great things from Matt Campbell.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Well, let's move out of the college realm up to the professional realm. I mean, and I don't know, weird kind of segue, but I was looking while you guys were talking about Indiana being old. I was looking at the comparisons between them as one of the older teams in college football to the youngest team in the NFL, the Green Bay Packers, and it's still a 3-year age gap, which it should be from a professional team to a college team. But yeah, it's definitely a higher level of play that we have in the NFL. But I don't know if we will see that from every team here in the AFC and NFC championships going forward. And let's get the elephant out of the room. First off, Brennan, we beat you. The Broncos beat the Bills. Get screwed, but also I guess you got the last laugh potentially. But in Auburn legend Jarrett Stidham we trust. So I don't know, Brennan, go ahead and preview this AFC Championship game.
Yeah,
Broncos.
I'm not going to get too much into the loss last week because that's a video, a podcast, an hour in and of itself. But just know that was a catch. Our coach is fired. Like it's just a mess in Buffalo right now.
Whatever. It just wasn't, but that's fine.
It was, but okay.
Joe Burrow said otherwise, man.
Who?
Joe Burrow.
Yeah, Joe Burrow
for the first time in like a year and said, "You guys are crazy."
We kicked his ass this year. Ask him who Christian Benford is; he'll tell you.
And guess what? You didn't make the championship game.
Neither did him. Neither did he.
Okay.
What's he to say about it? But no. Anyways, no. It's tough. It's going to be very, very tough for Denver to win against a Patriots team that utterly destroyed C.J. Stroud, and to the point where there are legitimate questions about his future in Houston and if he truly is that guy. Like, it was bad.
Defensively, the Patriots destroyed them. But I will say, offensively, they didn't do that much better.
No, but you got to keep in mind, the Texans' defense is star-studded. I mean, that group is just amazing. And not to discredit Denver, because Denver has a very good defense too. I just happen to think the Houston defense is the best in the National Football League. And they kept them in that game just like they did against Pittsburgh. And then eventually the defense just took them over. And C.J. Stroud just kind of did what he had to. He did the bare minimum to beat Pittsburgh. But no, it's going to be tough, especially with the way the Pats defense played in a Jarrett Stidham-led team. Keep in mind, you guys also lost J.K. Dobbins for the year way early in the regular season. You're relying on the rookie R.J. Harvey, who he's been very good at times. But can he be that guy? He was all right in the game against Buffalo, but again, Jarrett Stidham hasn't played a snap in the NFL since 2023. It was a little different with Nick Foles. He's had experience before he came in with Philadelphia. I'm just not confident in Stidham to get the job done. Any other backup quarterback, like, if the Bills won that game and Josh Allen wouldn't play, I would be 10 times more confident with Mitch Trubisky starting than I would if we added Jarrett.
Well, I don't know about 10 times, but sure.
Yeah. I'm not even sure about what times.
But I mean, I don't know.
You
trust the Broncos defense enough to make it happen?
So, and he was the starter. Like an actual
He
starter.
balled out with Buffalo because they played the Jets the last week of the season.
But he's
still couldn't.
Like, do you think Jarrett Stidham is going to put up 270 yards passing and 4 touchdowns
against the Jets? But I don't think he has to either. I mean, and Kyle,
I don't think he has to against the Patriots, but he has to put up at least, I think, 24 points.
I don't know. And Kyle, you can talk about it, but honestly, I mean, you talk about Brennan, you were talking about Jarrett Stidham isn't enough to win it, but like, is the Broncos defense enough to win it? I mean, they had some kind of questions in that Bills game, at least for me as a viewer, against the run game, against giving a little bit of time for the quarterback too. So
against the same opponent that you guys are about to face off with, we saw it last week. Was that Texans defense enough to make a Super Bowl with the way C.J. Stroud played? No.
Yeah, but I mean, if Jarrett Stidham is competent, C.J. Stroud had an anomaly of a bad performance. But Kyle, I'll let you talk about it. What do you think are the pros and cons of this situation for Denver?
Look, if this were the college football committee, the Bills would still be in the playoffs. What I would say is, shout out Florida State. What I can say is I can't believe I was rooting for Buffalo in that game, because that's something I never do. Because look, I understand you want me to talk about the championship, but let me get on my high horse here for a moment. This is the year in the playoffs that Josh Allen had no Patrick Mahomes. The first time in his career as a starter, he has not made the playoffs. No Lamar Jackson. No Joe Burrow.
How dare you, Josh?
Nothing. The fact that they had to go into Denver and that they couldn't host them because they ended up not even winning the division is actually kind of a miracle. None of his demons were there, and he still could not get over the hump. And obviously, I mean, from outside looking in, it seems that the problem that the owners and whoever else decided was the problem was the head coach, and that's why Sean McDermott is now no longer the head coach of the Buffalo Bills. That being said, he's probably going to get a job immediately, I would assume. At the very least, he should. He's a phenomenal coach.
He'd be a great fit in Cleveland.
Oh, he would. You're totally right. I hope not, though. I hope he does not go to Cleveland. It's just so fascinating to me that they just when that game went into overtime, and I was like, oh no. How many times have the Bills gone into overtime in the playoffs in the last few years and just come up shorts, as Brennan is giving the symbol 0. But okay, enough of the high horse of Josh Allen. I think he will eventually win a championship. I'm not even quite sure if it's going to be with Buffalo, but there's no way a quarterback that talented doesn't win anything in the National Football League. No, that don't really count.
I don't think it was McDermott's fault either. I 100% agree with you. The one thing I'm going to say, and then we'll get back to the AFC Championship preview. This is all on Brandon Beane. Sean McDermott did nothing. And yeah, Allen had the 4 turnovers. You can blame a lot on it. You can even blame James Cook for that fumble because the Broncos went down, scored a touchdown right afterwards. But the big thing I want to point to, and I'm specifically pointing to that catch, interception, whatever your view on it is. The Buffalo Bills drafted a wide receiver 2 years ago who specializes in 50-50 deep balls down the field. Why are you having 36-year-old Brandon Cooks running that route?
Almost out of the league a couple years ago.
Dude, I literally said when that ball was thrown, I was like, there's no way Brandon Cooks in his bag is catching that thing.
50-50 deep balls. That's
all. Are you talking about Keon Coleman?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, because he can't catch a football. That's the reason why. Okay.
Exactly.
Because he just can't.
No. I am fully aware of that.
Okay.
This is on Beane for constructing a roster that was so poor. And yeah, Sean McDermott had some.
You guys had no wide receivers for the last 2 years. It doesn't matter.
Generally, can you name anyone notable that the Bills have had at the receiver position since Stephon Diggs? Can you name anyone that you're like, oh, that's a good guy? That's a solid receiver on a playoff team.
Shakir.
Khalil Shakir.
Not as a 1. As a 2. Okay. Maybe a 2, but definitely a 3.
Again, if that's the best guy you can come up with, then something is wrong.
Maybe a 2, definitely a 3.
Continuing to sell yourself short. It's like, you know what? He's definitely not a 1. Probably is not a 2. Definitely.
We got a couple of wide receiver 3s in our day.
That's not going to win you games, man.
He could be a 2 or a 3 on a Super Bowl team.
He could, but he's not the best receiver on a Super Bowl team.
He shouldn't be the best receiver. Clearly,
and that's the point I'm making.
Yeah. No, 100%. Okay. I agree with you.
Okay, let's.
If we had any championship caliber receivers, I'm saying for the role he plays.
Oh my God!
We had some veteran bench warmers, bench warmers.
Okay, sorry, we completely off the rails here. I really hope Denver wins. I don't know how they'd be able to do it. I understand that defense is so good. I just can't fathom the year that Patrick Mahomes is all out of the playoffs. We're having some good playoff games. Is the year that New England gets back. I can't take that anymore. Truthfully, I would not be able to take another Patriots Super Bowl. I've seen for the first few years of my fandom,
brand new Patriots team.
I don't care. I hate the Patriots, and everyone hates the Patriots. Oh, I love Drake May. No one likes Drake May unless you're from New England or a freaking bandwagon fan. All right, he's played well. I appreciate how he has played, but I cannot see the Patriots in the off year of probably another 5 years of Mahomes after this. Please, Denver win. I agree with, I forget who said it, but if they're able to score 21 some points, I think that there is an outside chance of them winning the game. But I just really hope that Stidham has to obviously just stay out of duress, not throw any picks, which is going to be hard against this New England defense.
Yeah, it's going to be incredibly tough. I just don't see a realistic world where that happens, but you never know. It's the NFL. Any given Sunday, that's why you play the games. So, good luck to your Broncos. Go win it all. Going to be tough.
It would be very
I'm
cool.
rooting for the Seahawks or the Rams, whoever comes out of the NFC. Though I think
correct. Me too.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that game. I mean, I'm obviously biased, so I'm excited about the Broncos-Patriots game. But as an outside fan, I'm a lot more excited about Rams-Seahawks. That sounds like a blast.
Yeah, no, it's going to be really fun. Both of these offenses have played well all season. The defenses have been pretty good. We saw that thriller. I forget what week it was, but it was the last time these two played in Seattle. We're going back to Seattle. It's going to be awesome. I'm really excited to see that. The only thing the biggest X factor, I think, in this game is going to be Sam Darnold. He's played well so far. He played well against the 49ers. That was a very injury-riddled team. You're getting high-powered offense on the Rams, who do not have to travel that far. They went into a snowy Soldier Field in Chicago and got the job done. Can they get the job done in Seattle? More, I think they have a chance to. But again, this game is going to fall on the shoulders of Sam Darnold. It's almost like one of those things where, and it was the same with Indiana for me, honestly. You just can't trust them until you see them do it. And I just don't know if Sam Darnold is going to do enough to outplay Matthew Stafford.
Have you not seen enough from Sam Darnold over the last? I mean, just even though
it's just a bad shake. I mean, look how he began his career and look how he ended last season.
I mean, it's much easier to trust Matt Stafford right now in his career than Sam Darnold. I've no disrespect to what Sam Darnold has done
overall, of course, but I mean, exactly over the last 2 years, though, he's done just incredible things. I mean, like I feel like this is a quarterback you can trust in some degree. And he has the age of a veteran too. I mean,
yeah, but again, the thing that's scaring me off is his prior success and then the last 2 games of last season, and the fact that Niners team was so injury depleted and that defense was just out of this world. They have the best special teams unit in the league too, and Rashid Shaheed, like, they've done a whole lot to put the pressure off of Sam Darnold, and I think that all that pressure is going to be brought on him in this game, and it's going to be a huge test for him to see how he handles it. If he handles it well, I think Seattle is going on to win the Super Bowl. If he doesn't, it's not going to look pretty out there on Sunday.
And to kind of just retrospectively think about this, wouldn't it be so funny after all of the rigmarole that Sam Darnold spent with in the Jets and with the Panthers and was his backup in San Francisco? Wouldn't it be so funny that he would be the first quarterback in the 2018 draft class to win a Super Bowl?
Yeah.
After Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson and even a little bit of Baker Mayfield that we've seen in the last few years. Again, his job may be in doubt as well. But I do think it's gonna come down to the minutia, like it did in that Thursday night game. The crazy rinky dinky like 2-point conversion that somehow worked. And I do think Darnold didn't have to play a whole lot very well because I mean I think it was Kenneth Walker went for like 3 touchdowns. He was crazy. I think he's dealing with an oblique injury.
They'll be out without Charbonnet.
Yeah, no Zach Charbonnet. It's going to be interesting. I really was thoroughly impressed with the Rams last week. I have family in Chicago, so I was rooting for the Bears, and I was said there's no way that this Sunnyside Los Angeles team is going to go into Chicago when it's snowing or whatever else in the elements and go in and win a pretty gritty, particularly defensive battle too. I mean, they picked up Williams, I think 2 or 3 times, for better or for worse, if that was Williams' fault. But they were able to turn the ball over, obviously for their side. So it's interesting to see if if they're able to continue that play after a tight game in Carolina and somehow an even tighter game in Chicago. I would, if I had to put money on it now, I think we're going to get a very similar game to the Thursday night game, because it just, both these teams since then have just been on like another level, and it's really hard to decide. So I would probably just err on the side of the home team, and that very clearly helped them in the game against the 49ers last week. So I would probably pick San Francisco. Seattle.
I'll end that here by saying I do think whatever team wins that game is going to win the Super Bowl, just because of an experience factor, and maybe more so with the Rams than the Seahawks. If it was a Patriots-Seahawks game, if you're a Pats fan, I'd be a lot more comfortable. If you were the Patriots versus the Rams, we saw what Matt Stafford did against Joe Burrow, second-year Joe Burrow. In that Super Bowl, was able to get the job done. So my pick right now would probably be Los Angeles, but I think whoever comes out of the NFC, and again, that's no offense to the Broncos, it's just Jared Stidham right there, and the New England Patriots are great. It's very hard for a second-year quarterback to do it. I think the last one to do it was your guy, Kyle, Ben Roethlisberger, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I believe so. I think he's the youngest quarterback to win the Super Bowl. So,
yeah. Well, we'll just have to see what happens. I mean, I don't know. Maybe, and I'm not going to elaborate, but maybe a little bit bizarre picks. I do think actually Seattle's going to win this game, and I think Denver's going to win as well. And then it could go either way in the Super Bowl, but I think Brennan, what you were saying about what Sam Darnold needs to do this week, I think he'll probably need to do a lot more of the same against Denver. I mean, because we watched how Denver played Josh Allen, and they were just like, okay, just do everything he can, and he did do a lot of what he could. So I think that'll be the same way with Darnold too. So I could see a world in which Broncos win the Super Bowl. But either way, we'll be back here next week to see all of that going forward. Guys, any closing thoughts as we wrap up today's show?
Go Sabres.
Go Sabres.
Go Pens, I guess. I mean, I'm not wearing the Pens.
Go Blues.
No, not that.
Hey, Blues, baby.
Yeah, Blues in the Western Conference. It doesn't matter.
No. Whatever. Well, that's going to do it for the Banter Ball podcast. Follow us on Instagram, iHeartRadio, Spotify. I'm doing these out of order every single time. LinkedIn, YouTube, and do we have a Facebook? No, we got Twitter. X. So that's going to do it for today's show, and we will see you guys next week on Friday. Bye-bye.
So.